All right, we're going to get started in just a minute. We have got some great recipes to share with you today. So thank you for joining us. You might want to grab a pen and paper if you're able to write down a few of these tips. But at the end, we will absolutely be sharing with you a way to get these recipes if there's something that you would like to make, and additional information on our upcoming wellness challenge. So thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to get started in a couple minutes here. I've got my friend Heather joining us from chilly Wisconsin. I'm down in hot Florida. It is still hot. The sun is shining. But we are so excited today. We have got some wonderful recipes to share with you. If you've got a pen and a piece of paper to write down some notes, I think that you're going to love these recipes. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Kristen Horler, and I've been a personal trainer for over 20 years. I also have my master's degree in nutrition and some additional certifications in plant-based nutrition. I love to inspire healthy living by helping families get more fruits and vegetables in their lives. However, I'm not a vegan or even a vegetarian, but most of the food and the recipes that I share are very much plant-based because I think it's so important for us, whether we're athletes or recreational, as far as fitness goes, it doesn't matter. I think most of us want to prevent disease in the long term. And this is one of the ways that we do it. So I want to turn it over to my friend Heather, who is up in cold country. Heather, how are you doing up there?
Thank you, Kristen. It's actually beautiful today, so we're not complaining. It's not Florida beautiful, but it is beautiful. So we're getting outside and enjoying the weather while it's still nice. So my name is Heather Hampton. I live in Minnesota, and I have my husband and my two kiddos who are 10 and 6. And I have a bachelor's degree in dietetics, a master's degree in exercise physiology, and I just love things all health and wellness. And I love helping people, and especially families, being able to get good nutrition into their bodies, making it something the kids will eat too. And I know that these Energy Bite recipes are definitely something your kids will enjoy. They're a great alternative to all the other holiday sweets that can be around this time of year. So they're great. Energy Bites are great any time of year. I especially like to make them during the holidays, and it tastes like a treat, but it is a good alternative to all the cookies and candies and everything else that we have. So the first recipe that I am going to share is my coconut snowballs. And these are so simple that it's just kind of silly. But anyways, I already mixed everything up in my food processor earlier. But what the coconut snowballs have in them is 2 cups of unsweetened coconut oil, coconut milk. So lots of coconut here. Everything's coconut. And my favorite plant-based vanilla protein powder is in there as well. So super simple to just put that all into the food processor. My kids love to help mix it up by pushing the buttons. And then we roll out, and I'm going to roll a few out, but we have these cute little white snowballs. If you want to, you can also roll them in additional coconut flakes so they look even more snowbally, but I like to leave them just plain. And they're with the coconut oil, they will mold really easy because you melt your coconut oil, and then they'll harden up when you put them into the fridge. So it's just super simple. You can make the balls as big or as small as you want them to be. Sometimes it's nice to have smaller sizes so people can sample more flavors, or sometimes the larger size is nice as well. So those are the coconut snowballs. I love to keep those in the fridge or freezer to make them last a little longer if they're in the freezer. They don't get pulled out as quickly as in the fridge. So that is my first recipe, and I'm going to turn it over to Kristen for hers.
All Sorry, I'm totally making you laugh over there, Heather. Last week I was making like smoothies and everything with coconut water and coconut flakes. And I love that you brought this recipe today. I've never actually made this one, so I'm going to hit you up for the recipe when we're finished here. So one of my favorite recipes, so simple, literally whipped this up 10 minutes before we jumped on this live stream. So this one, just like Heather was saying, like it's so easy, it's silly. So I do buy a lot of my things from Trader Joe's. So this is rolled oats. Just so you know, oats are naturally gluten-free. So buying gluten-free oats, which these ones say gluten-free, it just has to do with the facility. A lot of times oats are produced in the same facility as wheat and flour. They're processed in the same facility. So there's a high risk of cross-contamination. So I have celiac. I prefer to get gluten-free oats. Great prices at Trader Joe's. I think I put about 6 cups in today. I don't even measure anymore, but I promise I will give you measurements for today's recipe. This is what it ends up looking like. I'll show you all the ingredients that went in, and then I formed it into cute little bite-sized energy bite balls. And these go in a Tupperware container in the fridge, and I'll have a couple with some tea in the morning or in the afternoon. Or my favorite thing with these energy bites is to bring them, like my son actually has a race this weekend. This is the kind of thing that is great to fuel on between events or between training, but it's a great dessert too. So I told you oats is the first ingredient. Honey is the next ingredient. Do not try agave or maple syrup. It doesn't work. So you got to use honey. And then you have a choice of nut butter. You can either use peanut butter, or what I did today, because I have an issue with peanut butter, just an allergy, I use sunflower butter. And because I'm already using honey, I intentionally get the sunflower butter that is unsweetened. So this is unsweetened. So if you do shop at Trader Joe's, they have one that has added sugar in it, which obviously tastes great because it's got sugar. But if you can find the one that's unsweetened, you're not getting that added sugar. And then you can, of course, control how much honey you're putting in. You do need the honey to get these to roll together and stick together. And then I do recommend storing them in an airtight container with a lid in the fridge until you're ready to eat them. So those are, oh, and I forgot my favorite ingredient, my chocolate protein powder. So this is what I put in. So it's a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of peanut butter, and there's so many other things you can actually add to this. I kept it super simple. I just did the basics today. 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. That's it. So simple. But you can add chia seeds, you can add hemp seeds, you can add chocolate chips. I mean, the list goes on and on. You can add coconut, unsweetened coconut flakes. I wouldn't add all of those things, but if you want to just pick one to mix it up, you can add cinnamon to it. I just went super simple and basic today. So those are my chocolate peanut butter oat energy bites. Heather, what do you have for us next?
All right, my next one is Almond Joy. So very much a lover of coconut, almond, and chocolate. You can't go wrong with that combination. So my Almond Joy energy bites are delicious and will definitely satisfy that sweet tooth, no doubt. So in the Almond Joy ones is almonds, as you can imagine. And again, this one was mixed up in the food processor. The one that Kristen has, you can obviously stir by hand. The 2 that I'm sharing today need to be processed in the food processor. So I chop my almonds up in the food processor first, and then I add dates. Now I admit I couldn't find fresh dates when I went this week. So I will tell you that the bag of dried dates will work. You may have to use a few more dates, or I had to add a little bit, just like a tablespoon of water, just to help everything come together. So know that you can make it work, but I do love the fresh dates better, the ones that actually have the pits and you have to take the pits out and everything. So the dates, the almonds, more coconut, of course, more of the unsweetened coconut for our Almond Joy. And this time, my favorite plant-based protein powder in the chocolate. So we get that chocolate in there, and then just a drop or 2 of almond extract. I also like to add a little bit of salt to this one. My almonds are unsalted. So by adding just a little bit of salt, that helps with that combination, and you get that true Almond Joy taste. So those all up in the food processor, and it comes together. It takes a little bit. Like I said, I had to add a little bit of water, but then they form into these nice little balls, and you have those ready to, again, pop into your fridge or into your freezer to, again, make them last a little bit longer. If I do put them in the freezer, I pull them out and allow them to sit at room temperature for about 10 minutes or so, just so they get a little softer. But they last a little bit longer in my house if they're in the freezer versus the fridge. So a great alternative, again, to any of those holiday desserts that are tempting. My kids love these as after school snack as well. And they're also, something I can even give them for breakfast. I don't feel that bad about. So that is my Almond Joy energy bites. I'll pass it over to Kristen.
I completely agree with you, Heather. If you store these energy bites in your freezer, they last a little bit longer. So my next recipe is using Rice Crisp or crisp rice cereal. So you can get Rice Krispie cereal, or this is the Trader Joe's brand of crisp rice. You might want to check the ingredient list if you are on a gluten-free food plan. And watching that, you might want to just check the ingredients to make sure that it is, in fact, gluten-free. It should be. So I take about 4 to 6 cups of the crisp rice cereal, and then basically it's the same thing that I did in my last recipe. Honey, either peanut butter or unsweetened sunflower butter. And then this time, just to mix it up and keep life exciting, I added vanilla plant-based protein powder. So I mixed all of that up, and I'm going to grab this over here and show you what I did, because I find the crisp rice to not come together with the peanut butter and the honey in the same way that the oats do. So I find it to be less messy and a little bit easier to manage by putting it into a baking dish, even though I'm not baking this. So I lined the entire dish. It's a square pan. Try not to throw that on myself. I lined the entire pan with parchment paper. It overlaps on the sides, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then I took the back of a spoon, like this one's filthy, with more energy bite mix, and I used the back of the spoon, and I tried to evenly distribute this Rice Krispie peanut butter mix as much as possible. So I pressed it from the center into the corners, and then take a smaller piece of parchment paper, put it on top, and you're just going to try to flatten out any of those ridges and just try to get it evenly distributed throughout your pan. It's not as difficult as it sounds. And then pop this in the freezer at least for an hour. And then when you come back, you will be able to peel off that top layer, pull your bottom layer, and pop it out of your pan, still frozen, and then you can get a large knife and cut this into little squares. So that's what I do with my Rice Krispie vanilla peanut butter energy bites. Those are so good, and just like the ones that I make with oats, they do not last very long in our house, but it's such a great sweet treat, such a great energy bite, and something that, like Heather said, I can feel good about giving to my kids. I can feel good about having, I like to have a couple of them with a cup of tea. It's just a nice little treat, and you know everything that is going into that, which is great. So Heather, how can people get our recipes?
Yes, so if you would like to get the recipes with the exact ingredient amounts and how to make these, we are happy to share those with you. Just comment below or reach out to one of us, or if somebody else shared this video with you, go ahead and reach out to them and we'll get you our 4 recipes. And we want to invite you as well. We are kicking off a wellness challenge starting next month. It's 10 days of focusing on all areas of wellness. So if you are interested in learning more about our upcoming wellness challenge, just reach out and we will get you all the information and get you connected with that. We look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.